Hi, Luminaires! How is everybody out there? Luminaires is simply a word I use about everyone who shines light, which is everyone, because we all shine light, whether it is our smile, our emotional give to the world, or simply our energetic field or auric field. My name is Jamie Butler. If you're new to Facebook or to YouTube and my channels, I'm so happy to have you here. Today is a little bit different. I have a guest coming on. His name is Kevin Mackey. We're going to talk about him in a second, but I want to know how everybody's doing with the energy of October. Can you believe we're in October? It is my favorite month, and Halloween is approaching. I can't wait. Hi, Katie. Yes, Katie's sharing that they survived the hurricane. Now we're going to enjoy a gorgeous fall weather. All the healing vibes going to Fort Myers. For anybody out there in the world who has had a very big squeeze and a kiss from Mother Earth, be it Hurricane Ian or others, sending you great big love and making those adjustments and hoping that you and your family and animal companions are well and happy and safe. Oh, you're so welcome. Sagrira is here. Speaking of animal companions, Sagrira is my go-to on getting more knowledge out of my animal companions, better communication. So it's so nice to have you here. Hi, Sheldon, Cherie, Moni, Tiff. I can't wait. So today's talk came about from me speaking with Kevin. Kevin is part of the mentorship group, and we chat once a month. And he was talking about this 5 stone meditation because in the mentorship group, we do offer or I give suggestions on what kind of meditations to host for yourself every week. And he brought up meditation and how some people really struggle. And he was helping a client of his who has a busy mind, some hyperactivity, maybe ADHD, and sitting down, that's like enough. That's more than enough to do. And to also get your mind calm is even often a more difficult task. And he was taught, and he's going to tell the story behind it, this 5 stone meditation that can help hone in magically your mental body energy and get you really sitting with yourself. So, for those of you who are here and you would like to participate with us and learn, as Kevin says, this simple meditation, which I'll be learning for the first time today, I was like, don't teach me now. As we were talking, I said, would you please teach in front of everybody? Because I would appreciate getting this information out there. And I adore Kevin. So, this is a great combo. He asked for us to find 5 stones. I texted him and I was like, is crystals okay? Can we bring crystals? He's like, yeah. Stones, crystals, anything. They don't have to be large. I wanted large so I could feel and kind of see them better. So I have 5 stones or crystals in front of me. You can get tiny tumbled crystals. You can get stones or rocks that you have collected from outside, but 5 of them. So while I bring Kevin on, if you want to scamper around and get your stones together, I think that would be wonderful. I want to remind you that Kevin does quite a bit of energy work. He is a Reiki master, he's a QHHT practitioner, a hypnotherapist, and also an intuitive advisor. He does wonderful readings, and I'm massively in love with his voice, and he does have a radio show. But we didn't mention that really. That's like coming up. I'll have him throw that link up as well. So without further ado, please welcome Kevin to the community. Hi.
Hey, hello again, Jamie.
Hi, Kevin. You're here.
I am. Thank you so much for inviting me because I love coming on here and talking to you.
I love how conversational you make everything. I'm
Yeah,
I'm excited. Did you hear me tell everybody that I got my stones, my crystals together?
yes. And for some people who are listening, this this may be a life-changing day because I know there are people who probably have written down, oh, I really need to make a meditation practice. I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll do it next Tuesday. And then it comes and you start and you have all the best intentions, like I will stick to it this time. And all of a sudden you get to that spot and you go to meditate and your mind just says, "Mm-mm, not today." Right. But this meditation is different. This meditation has a physical effect, and it doesn't matter if your mind is racing, it will eventually stop.
Hey, Kevin, the cat's out of
Mhm.
the bag. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Kristen's giving you birthday wishes. And for everybody to know that Kevin was so gracious to even come out today on his birthday and spend time with us. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome. It's a happy birthday.
All right. How? How did you find this meditation? How did it get to you?
Well, this is a really interesting story. So this happened almost 20 years ago. So 20 years ago, we had just moved to Seattle, and we had come from Colorado and sold everything we owned, and everything just fit into a van. And we didn't, when we first got here, we just had really terrible jobs, like minimum wage jobs, and we didn't have TV or cable. So we listened to the radio all the time. Most of the day we had the radio going. And 20 years ago, the radio was, different than it is now. And there was a radio station here in Seattle that played pop music. And for some unknown reason, at like 7 o'clock at night, they had this show called Sammy the Psychic. And there was a little DJ called David, and there was a psychic on there called Sammy. And they would play pop music, and in between the songs, people would call in, and Sammy would do readings for people. She'd say, "Oh, this is going to happen, or I see this happen." And not only did she do readings on this show, but she also taught classes, and she offered a class. And for the life of me, I wish I could remember what the actual class was, but I've kind of forgotten because it's been a number of years since it happened. And I got into the class at the very last minute. I was like one of the last people to come in to this particular class that Sammy was teaching. And it was in Bellevue. And I really didn't know anybody here in Seattle. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to this class, and maybe I'll be able to meet people, and maybe I'll be able to, learn something, and I'll go. I had no idea how much this course was going to change the very course of my life and my spiritual life, because something happened in the course that I wasn't expecting. So, Sammy Gordon had the opportunity to travel to Tibet, and she went to Tibet with a group of people, and she learned this 5 stone meditation that I'm going to teach you today. And what was interesting is Sammy Gordon was completely 100% clairvoyant. And she's probably still isn't. She may even be listening if you're out there, Sammy. But anyway, um, they started teaching her the stone meditation, and she started doing it, and it clicked with her completely. And she started to feel this thing that this meditation does. And all of a sudden, out of her brow chakra, something fell out during the meditation, and she was just like, "Oh, well, that was interesting." And she continued to do the meditation, and all of a sudden, again, something fell out of her brow chakra, something shiny, and she's like, "Is this?" She's looking at the monk that is teaching her this meditation. Is this normal? Should this stuff be coming out of my brow chakra? And it turns out they had this metal substance that fell out of Sammy's brow chakra. They had it tested, and it turned out to be gold. So everybody that was she was about to teach this meditation to us in this little class that we had all signed up for, and some of us were sitting here thinking, "Oh my gosh, it would be so fantastic if all we had to do is meditate and have gold fall out of our brow chakra. We could quit working." But anyway, she couldn't guarantee that that was going to happen to us. But anyway, I have done the meditation now for probably going on 20 years now. And there's never been a time ever that I have had gold fall out of my brow chakra. Ever, ever. And I have taught the meditation to other people. And to my knowledge, I don't know if they've ever had that experience. So just so you know, it's not likely that gold will fall out of your brow chakra. But that was just something that happened to Sammy Gordon when she was taught this meditation. So hopefully, hopefully you've all had a chance to find 5 stones so that you can learn the meditation here today, and we can talk about it and go through the steps in order to do it. Now, before learning this meditation, the stone meditation, like I said earlier, I had tried to do meditation. I have such a hard time doing it. And meditation as a whole, it can be very difficult to me because I'm already hyper and hyperactive naturally. And I feel um, that there are certain things in my life that have made it even worse. So I'm a Gen Xer, and we are the first generation, uh, really, in America and across the planet, that has been exposed to advertising from almost the day we were born. So, we've been exposed to little 30-second advertisements constantly our whole life. And we have also been exposed to educational shows. We were the first generation to be exposed to, believe it or not, Sesame Street and The Electric Company. And those shows were invented to keep kids' attention. They found out that if they could put something in a 30-second span, they could and keep kids' attention for 30 seconds, they could teach them. They could teach them words, they can teach them the alphabet. And my generation was the first generation to go through that kind of training and that kind of process. And so for a lot of us, and you probably are relating to this right now, but for a lot of us, we have grown up, being programmed that way. So doing any kind of meditation or any kind of mindfulness can be extremely difficult for us to do. And in the past, I would sit and think, oh, and set the intention, oh, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to quiet my mind, and I'm going to be able to meditate. And I would sit, and maybe I'd be successful for maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and then my chatter would start would start going, and it's always the same pattern, almost always. Oh, you're doing this wrong. I don't think this is the right way. You're not relaxed. All of these things would go off in my mind. And I would eventually give up and say, oh, I just can't do it. Well, I learned this meditation in the class, and it was an interesting. I'll never forget the way the class was set up with Sammy Gordon. There were 12 of us, and I was the only guy in this class, and we had introduced ourselves around the circle, and uh, Sammy had told us the story of the meditation and told us it was a great way to connect to our intuitive abilities and our higher self and our higher thinking. And I remember going through the learning process and learning it. And at first, when I first learned this meditation, I was kind of shook by how it actually worked. Nothing up to that point had ever allowed me to get into a state of mindfulness quite the same way as this meditation. And as I started doing it, uh, in the days and the weeks that followed, I was like, oh, wow, this does something. This does something interesting. So, if you have your 5 stones, I would like to go ahead and show you how this meditation is done and how it works. So, I'm going to rearrange, and I'm going to move my camera here so that you can kind of see the 5 stones that I have. These are just 5 stones that speak to me. These particular stones are called green obsidian. And I chose them today because they are easy to see on camera. But not only are they easy to see on camera, they also do a sort of clearing in your energetic field. And so obsidian can be a really good uh, stone to do meditation with. But you can do any stone that speaks to you. Like if you want to go on a walk and find stones along your trail that catch your eye or that you feel a natural resonance with, feel free to pick up those stones and put them in your pocket and then try them in your meditation. Now, the meditation is done with 5 stones. And I'm not sure why that number works, but it always works. In a pinch, like if you were in a pinch, you can get by doing this meditation with just 3 stones, and it will still have somewhat of the same impact, even with just three. So if you're in a crunch, maybe you're traveling, you're looking around your hotel, and you only find 3 stones, that's fine. You can go ahead and do this meditation with just the 3 stones. So to begin with, there's no ceremony or anything like that that you need to do. You just sit down, set the intention that you're going to do this meditation. And what you're going to do is you're going to start on the left hand side, on your left hand side. And I don't know why it works this way. It has something to do with the way energy moves, and all of your meridians are in your left sides. So maybe that's why it works so well from left to right. But you're always going to start left to right. And what you're going to do is you're going to start here with this first stone, please, so you can see them. You're going to start here with your first stone. You're going to pick the stone up. And as you pick the stone up, you are going to inhale. And you're going to make a big inhalation. And while you're inhaling, you're going to pass the stone to your right hand. And you're going to carry the stone and you're going to slowly, slowly put the stone down. And once it's on the table, you're going to move the next stone. And as you bring the stone up, you're going to inhale. And at the top of your breath, you're going to pass the stone to your right hand. And you're going to set it down next to the previous stone. Then you're going to do it again. And then you're going to exhale and you're going to set the stone down. And deep breath, breathe in. And breathe out as you put the stone down. And this movement needs to be as comfortable as you can make it at first. And when you get to when you get all five of the stones on your right hand side, you're going to go ahead and you're going to switch. And big deep breath as you lift the stone with your right hand. You're going to pass the stone to your left hand and you're going to set it down. And you're going to lift and breathe in. And you're going to exhale and bring the stone down. And breathe in. And exhale and bring the stone down. And exhale and bring the stone down. And now we have all of the stones on the left hand side. And from here, we repeat the process. Grab the stone, exhale out, and release the stone on the table as you breathe out. Now, when you first start learning this meditation, it's best to let yourself hear your breath. Listen to your breath as you breathe in and breathe out. Just listen to your breath. And as you continue to just pay attention to the sound of your breath as you move the stones, you're going to notice that something begins to happen. What begins to happen is you start to become aware of where the stones are. And there's no set time limit to this, like at 30 seconds, you should know where the stones are. It just happens naturally as you're going through and you're listening to your breath. All of a sudden, you know where every stone is. You know where to pick it up, and you know where to put the stone down. And right now, it's easy for me watching it on the camera. But if I were doing this meditation on my own and just sitting at my desk wanting to quiet my mind, eventually something would happen and it would click. And without looking, without noticing, I would know exactly where the stones are. And moving them becomes effortless. And so much so that as you pick the stones up, you can even move them. You can move them in your fingers. and you know exactly where to put the stone down again. And after a while, the stones will automatically just line up. Your right hand will know what to do, and so will your left hand. And the slower you can make it, the better the meditation. And all you're doing is moving the stones. And then something else starts to happen as you go through the movement of the stones. You start to notice your mind starts to quiet down. And rather than having random thoughts that make no sense and that no longer serve you, maybe you're having a conversation with a coworker in your head and you've been having it all afternoon, or maybe someone cut you off in traffic and for some reason it's just stuck there in your mind. As you move the stones, you'll notice that there is control over your thoughts and over your thinking process. You'll notice things start to slow down in your head as you slow down and move the stones. And if you're someone who's hyperactive like myself, it starts to become one of the best feelings that you can feel. And you start to feel it not only in your mind, but you start to feel it throughout your arms, your limbs, and the very core of your being as you continue to move the stones. Now, you're going to continue to move these stones for as long as you need. And you'll know when you're done because your body is going to tell you. Now, with most meditations, you sit and you quiet your mind. And when you can get to that state of quietness, it is the best feeling ever. And moving the stones is a good way to bring you into that space, especially if you have a hard time getting to that space in the first place. The stones are like a great way to put rails into your meditation that allow you to do what other people seem to be able to do with just meditation. The stones allow you to do uh, a more focused meditation. And after you've done this meditation, something starts to happen. And it's interesting what starts to happen um, in your mind. There's some sort of connection that begins to happen as you move the stones. And it changes the way you feel. And suddenly everything is clearer and crisper. Your thinking is clearer and crisper. You might be going to open a cabinet after the meditation, and all of a sudden you are aware of how that motion feels. Everything is completely crisp and clear. And for some people that I've taught this meditation to, it doesn't work at first because um, I have taught this people to, that are even more um, hyper than I am, and they're like, and they'll have all the stones and they'll move them all back, and they're like, well, I don't feel anything. But there is a mindfulness that has to happen, and there is a slowing down as you move the stones. And as you move the stones, it starts to change your thoughts and it starts to change the way you're feeling in your body. And it's the best feeling ever. And if you practice this meditation, if you can practice it for a while, even if you can get, in the beginning, if you can let yourself do this meditation for at least 10 minutes, you'll notice the crisp clearness that happens in your mind and in your body. And it is the best feeling in the world, especially if you're someone who has racing thoughts. It is the best feeling to feel um, the absence of that noise you always feel. Like, I don't know if you have this same thing, but I have, even though uh, I have commercials that play in my head, even when I haven't seen them in a long time. There's always like these snippets that that come to my mind, or little pieces of conversation, and it is an amazing feeling not to have that, and to have a clear space to think in and to be in. And usually, if you can do this meditation, it can open a doorway, especially if you are trying to solve a problem. And since learning this meditation, there have been a lot of really difficult problems that I've had to get alone and be by myself and connect to that mindful state of mind in order to solve them. For instance, like a lot of people, I went through um, a job loss. And being laid off is the worst feeling ever because there's so much uncertainty in it. I don't know what I'm going to do. And there's a lot of fear that comes along to it. Along with losing your job, there's just so much fear that comes along to it. And it can be easy to stay in the muckety muck. Oh my God, I'm going to lose everything. I just don't know what I'm going to do. But if you can quietly spend some time quieting your mind and bringing congruence to your body, it will change not only what thoughts are rolling around in your head, it will change your entire physical surroundings. And when I was in that desperate situation of being laid off, I really came to depend on this particular meditation to keep myself from going into extreme fear of the unknown and not knowing what to do next. And um, when you can get clear like that, ideas will begin to hit you, and you'll be able to see and feel your way into what comes next. And I was able to do that and recover pretty quickly when the job loss had happened and occurred. I was like, oh, well, I just need to take this step and this step and this step, and I was able to do it. I've also had situations where I've been a little bit bullied by people that I work with, or bullied by different people. And when you are bullied, it has such a huge effect on your energy. It pulls your energy down so much. And if you are in that situation, the stone meditation is a good way to get your mind off of what was said, get your mind off of what happened, and bring yourself into a mindful state. And after moving the stones for even just a few minutes, you'll feel that alignment, and you will be able to move through those emotions that come with being bullied. You will find yourself able to easily forgive because you'll have a connection to your higher self, and you'll be able to manage that a lot easier. It is a great way to um, not only be mindful, but to manage emotions that can be somewhat negative. It is also a fantastic way to connect to your intuition, and perhaps you may have a problem that you need answers from, and that meditation can help you uh, realign and connect to your intuition.
Kevin, I didn't want to interrupt, but I have some technical questions.
Okay.
I really enjoy this meditation. And, the busy side of my mind that wants to know, am I doing this right? Should I close my eyes? So do you close your eyes right from the beginning, or do you leave your eyes open and you can track your stones?
So I would say in the beginning, leave your eyes open.
Mhm.
And you will notice as you continue to move the stones and you become aware of where they are, you can test yourself and you can close your eyes. And if you can close your eyes and move the stones, you're really entering a state of mindfulness because your eyes are closed now and you can move the stones without looking. And so in the beginning, look and allow yourself to do it. But then when you feel that feeling of, oh, I know where the stones are, it's okay to close your eyes. And thank you. That's a great question.
I have a few more.
Okay.
I found that when I pick up one stone and I inhale, are we bringing the stone to our heart? Are we holding our hand next to our heart? Like, it seems to be that's the level I hit.
Yeah, that is exactly the level I hit as well. And I usually try to do the meditation in a chair that has arms so that my elbows are supported as I'm moving the stones. It's not necessary, but it does help a lot if you have a chair that has arms. And then it does come up to that level when you're moving the stones.
Oh, that's a cool idea. And I noticed that both my hands want to come up to my heart at the same time. So when one hand is picking up the stone, the other one is already coming. And so it felt like I was orchestrating my energy
Yes,
field. We come up together, we hold it here at the top of the breath, and then we come down, and then we come
yes,
up together. And I didn't find myself doing one hand and then the other.
yes, that is exactly what is supposed to happen. Your hands start to understand what needs to happen, and they will meet each other. And you know what? I think that's what causes the strange sharpness in your head after the meditation. And I love when people finally feel that comfortable feeling of clarity after they've done this meditation for a while. They're like, oh my God, Kevin, you weren't lying. There is a sharpness, a clearness that happens.
There is. And even just for the short amount of time that we did it, and when you gave permission to feel the stone, you're like, you can move the stone around in your hand. I was like, oh, now I'm craving a small tumbled stone. It'd be so much easier to put in my pocket and go do this outside and just to feel the stone and all of its surroundings and easy to move it.
Exactly. And it becomes it becomes such a thing after you do it that even when you start out, you're so aware of your stones, you can just set them down, and you know automatically what order they're in. You and yeah, and what is interesting is sometimes if you do this for a while and
Mhm.
you get used to a certain order and you start becoming mindful of where your stones are, and if you use them in a particular order, all of a sudden your hands will automatically move them into that order. and by the time you're done with the meditation, you're like, "Oh, look at that!" My hands just knew what to do, but your hands will know. Um, they will know the movement, and they will get used to it.
You know, Shadow David was mentioning it reminds him softly of Qigong. And I haven't practiced Qigong before, but it reminds me of a Kundalini exercise where you are patting the energy into your heart, but you're not touching it. And so you have your arms at a letter T and you're doing alternating.
Oh, I've never done that.
Yeah, and it whips the energy up, like on the right side of your body and the left
Mhm,
side of your body. And this is our positive current energy, like the sun. This is our
mhm.
negative current energy, like the moon. And you're bringing it in, and it's clearing both of those currents to where you can be more neutral. And I was noticing as both of my hands were coming in, I felt like I was stirring a very warm, dense soup of my
Mhm.
energy and just softly bringing it back into my heart, going, remember, we can stay neutral. Remember, we don't have to be charged in a certain way. We can rest in the center, rest in the center. And I was like, ooh, this feels so good.
Yes. Now, one other thing that you can do
Mhm.
to help, and which is really kind of strange, um, if you do this particular meditation to music and use the same music every time, and I don't use like real meditation music. When I first started, I just used regular music you could hear on the radio, playing as I did the meditation. And what was interesting is if you hear that song later, it somehow puts you in the state of meditation. It's the weirdest thing.
Really? It's like
Mhm.
programming that energy to create just from the sound of it, minus the action of it.
Yep, and it works really well. You could. So at first, when I was first learning it, I made a little playlist. I'm like, oh, this is my meditation playlist. And if it would come on in the car, all of a sudden I would have that extra awareness. Oh, I'm in that state. And I was having such a weird time. Like there were times where I would go into a meditative state and I hadn't done any meditation that day, just from being programmed to the music.
And I would love to hear people's favorite meditation music. Maybe I can expand my repertoire. Yeah. Judy says it's like it's NLP kind of a programming. Even Sally Jeffries was saying, this really worked for me. Closed my eyes exactly when you said, and I wanted to carry on. Difficult for me to write this as I don't want to move myself away from that feeling. Amazing. Thank you, Kevin.
Yes.
Patricia saying your energy is very soothing. Thank you for the meditation.
Thank you.
And Anna Laura Baca says, thank you, Kevin and Jamie. I too have restless mind and I really enjoyed the meditation. I don't know, just kind of close the doors on my thinking. And here I was muted and totally disconnected from something I'm hosting. And normally if I'm hosting anything or involved in anything, I take a third perspective and I go, yeah, yeah, I'll learn this and I'll do it later. And I'll say it here just to make sure everything is smooth.
Mhm.
And I didn't do that this time. I didn't want to.
Nice,
It was great.
nice, nice.
Yeah.
I'm I'm
But
I, I'm anxious to hear any kind of feedback anybody has. You know, if you find that this meditation has helped you, definitely let me know. You can connect to me on my website, limestreetwellness.com. Just shoot me a quick email and say, hey, it's been a week and here's what happened to me. Because I love getting messages like that when people learn this and find it useful in their own experience.
I put up your website with your bio so that you
Oh,
can get some. If you want to learn more about Kevin, you can go over there and look. Lauren is saying, thank you for sharing this, Kevin. Definitely going to give it a go, perhaps to some Mozart. Oh,
That
yes,
would be good.
Mozart. That would be excellent. I had a question that's completely unrelated.
Okay.
But when I was so like diligently watching your hands at the beginning and you had your stones laid out, I noticed your desk has writing on it.
Yes.
It's
So
engraved.
there is something engraved in my desk, um, and it is the poem Invictus. And this was a you know, it was a desk that was made for me to write on, and it has "It matters not this how straight the gate, how charged the scroll." Um, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Is what it says around the edge of my table, and it's one of my favorite pieces of furniture.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. I was like, oh my God, why? I've never really stopped to think about having something engraved like that and being around that reminder and that frequency, those words. Like,
Mhm,
yes.
mhm. Invictus is, I think, if anyone is familiar with Maya Angelou, Invictus was one of the poems she taught her son when he was young. I think she had told the story that he just recently passed away himself, but he had gone. It was an interesting story. He had painful back surgery, and Maya Angelou went to see him in the hospital, and they were pulling out these huge sutures in his back, and Maya Angelou was just kind of there to soothe him, and she started citing Invictus, and as they were doing this procedure, by the time she got to the end of the poem, they had finished what they needed to do. And he looked up at her and he's like, "Mom, you forgot one verse." but I've always been in love with that poem. Because that uh, for some reason I can't remember the author of it, Steve. But you can find it in Invictus, and he had written that poem after having his leg amputated.
That's definitely a motivation to put some words on paper.
Right?
Um, Anna Laura Baca is writing back and saying when she moved the stones, she felt a need to touch her third eye with the rock as she was changing hands.
Interesting. That is interesting. I've never felt that. I've never felt that, but I'm definitely going to give it a try.
Unica Phoenix, hi. She's saying she's definitely going to try this out tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Beverly's giving you thank you so much. Definitely going to try it again. Katie, my favorite channel for music on YouTube is, do I call it Shive Light or Chive Light? So many different ways to pronounce things. Yes. If does anybody, we're going to linger just a second more to see if you have questions about the process or if you want to ask Kevin anything. Kevin does do readings and Reiki as well as other healing modalities. And he's doing something very sweet for you guys. And since you've made it this far, can I post it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He's offering 20% off his services out of his own. I didn't even ask this time. He was like, I'd like to do this. I'm like, oh my God, that's so sweet of you. Thank you. Thank you. And
You're welcome.
if you're looking to do reading, healing, anything of that nature, Kevin is somebody that I would recommend and stand behind. But you also do intuitive, I don't want to call it coaching, but intuitive advising, where you help
Yes.
people figure out where they are, what's happening with them. So you co-work with them, but I know you collaborate with energy as well. But that's a very nice treat as well. And you have a 20% off coupon. Just use the code Jamie, capital J, and enjoy. Like get this by the end of the year so we can start 23 with a brand new perspective.
Right.
Oh, thank you. Deanna's saying the live sessions make her day. Yes, Kiara's giving you big thanks. Thank you, Kevin.
You're welcome.
Kevin, is there anything else that you would like to add?
Oh, no. The only thing I would add is try doing the meditation daily. See if it and see if it does bring you clear thought and crisp, clear energy in your body after you do it.
Every day. Is it something where it's like every day, same time frame?
In the beginning, I didn't always have the same time free. But I found if I at least did it sometime during the day, I would feel the effects later on in the day.
So it's a
And
nice
then,
kind of a morning thing.
yep, and then I would feel terrible if I didn't do it. I'd be like, well, if I would
What
just
do
had
you
meditated.
what do you mean terrible? What is that
Like,
like?
like I like I might be having a terrible day and I'm like, oh, if I just meditated, I wouldn't be in this. I would be in my calm state right now.
That makes sense. You're getting a lot of thank yous. Oriel states that this meditation technique is new to me, and my breath got so long and deep and felt energy changing inside and all around me. That's strange. That's when you kept saying, just slowly, slowly set it down. You know, I catch myself when I'm doing extended breath work that I can breathe in nice and slow for a while. It's like surprising. But when I breathe out, I try to go slow and all of a sudden it's over. And I'm like, oh, that didn't equal the 10 count I did when I breathed in. I only have a 5 count breathing out. And I found myself, it was like pulling spaghetti. It just kept coming, kept coming, like, and I was like, whoa, where'd my big breath come from? I thought was really cool. I wondered if my focus on the action, my movement, and the stone itself slowed it down for me. It was interesting. And Song, that woman over there, I can't wait for you to go back and watch it. It's a really wonderful meditation. Definitely
Oh,
share
yeah.
it, share it, share it.
There is a song that I used in my meditation. If you're curious, it's with Sarah McLachlan and a group called Delirium, and the name of the song is called Silence.
Yeah,
And if you are, wanting a song that Kevin used in this stone meditation, it is that song, Delirium, with Sarah McLachlan, Silence.
I don't know how to spell McLaughlin. All right, Sarah Mac.
If you don't know how to spell uh, McLachlan, it's McLachlan. McLachlan.
There we go. I think that'll be posted up. There you go.
So people know.
Oh my God. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for taking the time and being with us. I know
Oh,
I kind of extended your stay, but I really did enjoy it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Luminaires, I give you the reminder again. If you find something you like, do yourself a favor and follow through with it. Give it a go. Try this for 21 days. Try it for 4. I mean, and if it's something that you love and you want to learn more about it, reach out to Kevin. He has his website on Lime Street Wellness. I posted it, and you can go over and you can contact him through that. He also is giving 20% off if it's somebody that you vibe with and you're looking for a service or even a Christmas offering, holiday offering. Please, you're this way, Kevin. No, you're this way. See, Kevin. With that, thank you so much for being here, Lumineers, and lending us your attention, your eyes, your ears, and enjoying this experience with us. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. With that, remember this is not woo woo, it's true, true. Take care, everybody. Kevin, take care.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.